March 1, 2022. Day 5 of the invasion. At 1712 local time, a Russian Iskander ballistic missile struck the base of the Kyiv television tower. The tower did not fall. It was damaged. Fires started in the surrounding area. The broadcast signal was interrupted for several hours. 5 people were killed. They were civilians who had been sheltering nearby, or passing through, or working in the area. Their names were Ihor Chervinsky, Artur Berlaka, Tamara Havriliuk, Vsevolod Dymenko, and Oksana Krasnova. I will say their names again at the end. The television tower is located in the Syrets district of Kyiv, at the edge of a park. The park is called Babyn Yar. I need to tell you what this place is, not as context, as the center of this story. Babyn Yar is a ravine. In Ukrainian, Babyn Yar. In Russian, Babi Yar. It translates roughly as Old Woman's Ravine. It is located in what is now a residential and park area of northwestern Kyiv. On September 29 and 30, 1941, the German Einsatzgruppe, assisted by German Order Police and Ukrainian Auxiliary Police, shot 33,771 Jewish men, women, and children into that ravine. 33,771 people. In 2 days. It is the largest single massacre of the Holocaust. Larger than any single action at Auschwitz. Larger than any single day at any other site in the entire war. In 2 days. The mechanism was this. Kyiv's Jewish population was ordered to assemble at a specific location. Told they were being resettled. They came with their luggage. With their children. They were marched to the ravine. They were shot. This continued, with various victim groups, for the next 2 years. Estimates of total dead at Babyn Yar across the occupation range from 100,000 to 150,000. Jews, Roma, Soviet prisoners of war, Ukrainian nationalists, psychiatric patients. The ravine held them all. I work in proximity to this history. I will explain what I mean. After the war, the Soviet Union did not want Babyn Yar remembered as a Jewish site. In Soviet ideology, the Holocaust as a specifically Jewish tragedy was suppressed. The victims were called peaceful Soviet citizens. The Jewish specificity of the massacre was erased from official memory. In 1961, the poet Yevgeny Yevtushenko wrote a poem called Babi Yar, which began with the lines, "No monument stands over Babi Yar." He was right. There was no monument. The Soviet authorities had, in 1961, built a dam nearby and flooded the ravine with industrial waste, partially destroying the site. The dam broke in 1961, killing an unknown number of people in the resulting mudslide. The Soviet government suppressed news of the disaster. A monument was eventually erected in 1976. It did not mention Jews. It was only after Ukrainian independence, and especially after the 2000s, that serious memorial work began. The Babyn Yar Holocaust Memorial Center (BYHMC) was established in 2016. It is one of the largest Holocaust memorial projects in the world. Major construction was underway in early 2022. I was involved in work connected to that center. That is why I was in the area on March 1. The morning of March 1 was the 5th day of the invasion. Kyiv was under a general air raid warning. The city had been under near-continuous alert since February 24. People had adapted, in the way people adapt to things they cannot change. You heard the sirens. You made a calculation about where you were and how close the shelter was. And often you kept working. I had come to the memorial site area that afternoon. There were colleagues. There were things that needed to be done. Documentation work, preservation questions. The kind of practical concerns that do not stop during a war. When the thing you are preserving is irreplaceable. The television tower was visible from where I was. It is a large structure, built in the Soviet period. 380 meters tall. You can see it from across the city. From the memorial area, it is approximately 300 meters away. At 1712 I heard the impact before I felt it. A sound that was not like other sounds. Then the pressure. Then smoke. I was not injured. I found shelter immediately. Those around me were also uninjured. But people died. Within a few hundred meters of where I was standing. On the edge of Babyn Yar. I want to be precise about what I felt in the hours after. There was the immediate response, shock, the physical reality of the blast, the practical responses. That is one layer. Underneath that was something harder to name. Because this place, this specific piece of ground, is not just a park. It is not just a location on a map. It is the place where the largest single massacre in the history of the Holocaust occurred. It is the place where, for decades, the Soviet state tried to bury not just the bodies but the memory. It is the place where Ukraine has been, in recent years, building something. A serious, significant memorial as an act of national reckoning. And on March 1, 2022, a missile hit within 300 meters of it. I do not believe the Russian military specifically targeted Babyn Yar. The target was the television tower. The proximity to the memorial was a consequence of geography, not intention. But I also do not think intention is the only thing that matters. When you strike a city that has specific historical sites, you take responsibility for what you hit. And what was hit, in this case, was the edge of the ground, where 33,771 people were murdered in 1941. The Babyn Yar Holocaust Memorial Center released a statement that day. Part of it read, "Today, Babyn Yar was fired upon again. Once again, people were killed here. Again." That word was chosen carefully. There is something specific about what happened to Ukraine in the 20th century that I think people outside Ukraine sometimes miss. Ukraine was one of the most devastated territories of the Second World War. The Holocaust happened here, in Ukrainian cities, in Ukrainian towns, in Ukrainian ravines. The German occupation of Ukraine killed millions, Jews, Ukrainians, Roma, others. At the same time, the Soviet regime had killed millions of Ukrainians in the Holodomor in 1932–33. And after the war, Soviet policy continued to suppress Ukrainian identity, Ukrainian language, Ukrainian memory. So what you have is a country that carries multiple layers of catastrophic historical trauma. And has been, in recent decades, trying to build institutions that reckon honestly with all of it. Including its own complicated role in the Holocaust. Including collaboration that happened. Including resistance that happened. Honestly. Seriously. The missile that hit near Babyn Yar on March 1, 2022, landed in the middle of that process of reckoning. Not just in the physical sense. In the historical sense. It interrupted something that was being built. Not just concrete and steel. Memory. Acknowledgement. The slow work of facing what happened in this place. The television tower was repaired. Broadcasts resumed. The memorial work at Babyn Yar continued, as much as was possible during the war. The 5 people who were killed that day were buried. Ihor Chervinsky, Artur Burlaka, Tamara Havriliuk, Vsevolod Dymenko, Oksana Krasnova. I think about those names in relation to this place. About what it means that people died here, again. Not in the same way, not in the same scale. There is no comparison. But in the same geography. On the same ground. 80 years later. On the 5th day of a new war. There is a sentence I keep returning to from the Memorial Center's statement. Today, Babyn Yar was fired upon again. Once again, people were killed here. What I cannot make sense of. And I have thought about it many times since that afternoon. Is the word again. It is the smallest word in that sentence. And the one that carries the most weight.